Okay, so this is the troublemaker piece that we found last time. Um, if I left it like this, when I paint it or assemble it, it will break. There's no doubt about it. Also, welcome to production value. Um, I thought it looked cooler, but so you're probably not going to like seeing this. But what I have to do is I'm going to have to break this piece, um, and then put a pin through it. Uh, there's no other way of making it making it work. At least that I can think of. So I guess this could be a lesson in when you're assembling models. It's always good to identify troublemakers like this, um, but don't be afraid to repair it, or if it breaks, don't be afraid to repair it. Essentially, uh, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to try and fix it. I have a little file. This is just to clean off the edge, like clean off some of the fragments that when you break. Got a hobby knife to make it easier sometimes. One of these things. The reason I have this is to cut a pin, which is this beautiful paper clip. You just cut it off, make it into little pins, which I've got on my rubbish pile here. You see that I've got little bits left over. This model here, for example, has pins in it. It has pins in the arm. Where can you see it? So where the arm joins the body, there's a pin straight through it. If the pin wasn't there, if you drop the model, the arm would fall off. And I know the arm's not going to fall off because I tried to take it off because I put it in a slightly wrong spot. And I tried to take it off and I couldn't, so I had to deal with it. that's why the pose is like that. But it looks cool in the end. Cool. I didn't like it. I don't like assembling these big ones. These shoulder things are annoying, but that's just my thing. This guy here, he has a pin again through the arm, because if you have this arm sticking out as it is, without a pin in it, I'm putting pressure on that, and that would just fall off if it didn't have a pin in it. And the arm itself, where the spear is attached, that also has a pin in the wrist. Otherwise, that would just fall off. Okay. You don't have to put a pin in everything, but when something's hanging out like that, it's a good idea to do it. I also put pins on the base where their feet are. So if you see their feet, there's 2 pins. That's to keep them on the thing as well. Otherwise, they just fall off. Sometimes they're okay, but most times you need to pin the base. This one here has no pins in it, only one for the foot. So this is what the drill bit is for. So I know that it's good to have in your little tool set. Make sure you get the drill bit is the size of a paper clip. I don't know what size it is. You need to measure it. I do have bigger drill bits. When I had like the big colossal model, I thought the bigger ones would work better, but it doesn't matter. And in my experience, smaller means you can pin smaller models, I guess. So let's break this up. Okay, so if you can see, there's like a little crack. I'm already starting to bend it. Like that's really easy. There's no resistance there at all. So I'm just gonna wiggle that free like a tooth. There you go. We're committed. So make sure you always look at the models carefully to see what parts were joints, so that way you can pin them. Sometimes it's difficult because they don't have enough surface area to pin, and in that case you just have to deal with it. and also check which way it goes, because you don't want to pin it the wrong way around. That would suck. So I'm going to use my file and just clean it off, because you can't drill a hole in an area that's all jagged, or not easily. So I'm just going to file. Oop. I just hope this bottom bit doesn't break as well, because that would suck. I'm currently listening to the Final Fantasy VI soundtrack. If you haven't heard it, it's so good. It's like, even though it's Super Nintendo era, which in my opinion has some of the, some really good music, but the Final Fantasy VI soundtrack is the best Final Fantasy soundtrack without fail. It like gets you so hyped about everything that's happening in the game. Also, the Final Fantasy IX one's pretty good too. They both kind of operate like operas. Final Fantasy VI actually had an opera in it. And if you can imagine, an opera, being sung with Super Nintendo sound chips, it's pretty damn good. Okay, so I've cleaned up the surfaces. I'm gonna try and do like an X. X marks the spot. That way the drill bit has some central point to, like, a groove to fit in. It doesn't have to be deep, just something to guide your drill. Now, unless you are absolutely perfect and very careful, you could get this exact and make it look like it was never happened. If you rush it, it could look schwonky or, off center. Some models make it look easy, others don't. Okay, so I'm starting to drill. So I've got the little point there, and I'm just sticking it in and just drilling. You don't want to put too much pressure on it. The drill bit would break. You want to go slowly to begin with. Otherwise you'll drill a hole in the wrong spot, and then it's not good. So it's caught. Yeah, just keep checking it as it goes, because sometimes it slips. Try not to change the angle too much when you're drilling, otherwise you'll break it. This is my last drill. I'll keep breaking them. Okay, so it's caught. Okay, go a bit faster. So you want to take it out, take out some of the shavings, and you can already see it already goes in. You don't have to go too deep, but because this is a pretty heavy piece, I'm going to go a little deeper. Obviously, the more pin that's in it, the sturdier it will be. I remember assembling 3 of the old metal Legion of Everblight beasts, the Carnivian and the something or other, Ravager or something. Those models were terrible. They were cool, but they were terrible. They each had about 20 something pins in it. And it's just because of the way they were structured. Everything was just hanging off of it. There's no way you could glue that without pins. Okay, so we check the depth again. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. All right, if I need to go deeper, I will. So now we do the hand. Now this is going to be difficult because the little thingy down the bottom here, it has risk of breaking, but I'd rather keep it on there if I can, because it hasn't already broken. Also, watch your fingers. I've drilled my fingers before too. It's not a good feeling. Okay, so it's caught. Ooh. You need good depth perception for this. Okay, so this is quite small, and I'm drilling pretty much through his hand. Oh, nearly broke the drill. It's not the end of the world. When you slap some paint on there with some green stuff to patch it up, you can't tell most of the time. Obviously, if you do a terrible job, you'll notice it quite obviously. But again, no need to fret if you make a mistake. There's always things you can do to patch it up. I don't know whether I mentioned it before, but my Widowmaker marksman leader, the female, she doesn't have legs anymore because I tried to rebase her, and I tried to get her off the base, and I just broke her legs off. And so she's just standing on a bunch of pins, but I fixed it. I didn't fix it, but I covered it over with tall grass on the base. So there's always something you can do, even if it's not ideal, but it's better than throwing in the towel and whatever. So yeah, we got that going in there too. I think my hand is better than the box for background. It's hard to see, but it's better than that. So maybe I just need a piece of black cardboard or something. That'll do, I think. We've got a bit of depth in there, It should work. Oh yeah, glue. This is pretty good glue, Zap-A-Gap. It comes in like squeezy bottles, but I discovered this one, which is a brush. It is fantastic because you can apply it just on the thing, and oh, so good. You can get it if you don't like waiting for glue to set. There is another product. I don't remember what it's called, but it's basically a super glue setter. It's like a spray bottle. You assemble your model, and then with your third hand or whatever, you just one spray, and it just sets the super glue. It's pretty good. But I've got a trick to do that. Quickly. You just gotta use a bit of saliva. Yep. I probably won't show you doing it here because I'll be gluing both surfaces and putting a pin in it. But when you're gluing just two surfaces together, you put glue on one side, you lick the other side, slap it together, and it sets really quick. It sounds gross, but it works. As long as you don't lick the glue side, no problem. So I've cut this down to a size. So I've cut that down to a size that I think will fit both sides. I want it to be bigger so I can see how it goes. So you can see like that, and then I put this on. Okay, so you can see that it's slightly too big, which is good, because what I'm going to do, I'm going to glue this side down, then trim it, dry fit, trim it, dry fit until it fits. So I'm going to grab the pin, slap a little bit of glue on it, throw it down the hole. Cool. And that should just start gluing quite well. So I'll be doing this while assembling these bigger models. Even if it's plastic, you still need pins in them. You just do. if you think you can get away without using a pin, I recommend doing it just to save you some time. But it's not recommended the whole way. So for example, these guys, Infinity models, they don't have any pins in them. I rarely put any pins in Infinity models. However, that's also because Infinity models, the joints are quite good. They're very tiny, but they're all like grooved in, so they kind of glue big surfaces. But with stuff like maybe this sword, because it sort of dangles down on a off angle, I think I do have a pin in that. I don't know whether you can see the dude. I think I've got a pin in his sword arm, and maybe his gun arm too, but the rest of it, there's no pins. Someone like this, they would have pins in the arms, because you can see like the arms are kind of hanging out. So if you knock that over, it'll just break. So pins help that. I've got to finish painting them too. I've already got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like 11 Infinity models left to paint. And then I'm done. No more Infinity until I get more. I rarely play Infinity, but man, the models are so cool. Okay, so I'm just seeing if that goes in. Yep, so I'll cut a bit off. Now, because I didn't wait till it dried completely, I've got to be careful, otherwise it will come out. But, oh, just a little bit more. Ah, so close. It's okay if you make the pin a little too small, but you want it to be the right size or close to it. There you go. So that's kind of good. You can see that it's kind of jiggles around, but the glue will set that in. You just need to make sure that it's all straight, and hopefully it's on the right angle, because it doesn't work the other way. Yeah. Oops. So you can bend it once it's glued in. Okay. Probably should have made the pin a bit longer, but hopefully this will be alright. Because I didn't want to damage the hand here. So let's throw some glue on that. Put it down the hole. And glue some surface area on this side. Splooge, there you go. So I didn't lick this one because I glued both surfaces, but just hold it and you'll all be alright. Just make sure it's all good. So super glue, you've got some setting time, but not much. I hate gluing things. Oh, so it hasn't glued properly yet. I've got to probably use more time, but you get the idea. If I can find it, having some blue tack, which is over here. If you've got blue tack, you can just set your model down on the blue tack. Make sure it's all good. Yeah. So you don't have to hold it, but it looks like I'll have to hold it. Because it's on a weird angle. Damn it. Unless I do that, maybe. Yeah, it kind of works. Yep, that'll work. Cool. If I don't have to hold it, I won't. I find if you're lazy, you tend to come up with really efficient ways of doing stuff. So that'll just dry, and then it'll be ready to assemble. I don't know whether I'll make a video on assembling these stupid things. Maybe I'll just take a photo so you can see it, because it will take too long. It'll take way too long. I think each model to assemble is probably like half an hour to an hour, because you got drying time, you got to drill, you got to clean it up, like depending, you got to figure it out, like it takes time. Anyway, that's how to drill. That's how you repair, and how you use the drill, and paper clips as your pins. It all works. I drill almost everything, so yeah. Cool. That's all. All right. See you next time.